yes. Hi, sir, I'm actually literally winning and I've won. I'll call you in about 90 minutes. We have a live at the moment. As soon as we're done, I'll give you a shout, sir. Thank you so much. Bye. Okay. That's all of us.
Okay, what else is not live?
Everybody is live at 5. Okay, perfect. So for one or other reason, I forgot my laptop at home, so I'm going to be working with my phone today.
At the office.
Sorry? No, at home. I left it at home.
How?
At home. So, but we'll be okay. We'll process this together. And if there's any cool questions that that you guys have for me, I will jump straight into it. Okay, let's go. The first slide. What are we processing, Els? Now you must operate 2 devices.
That's okay. I'm a woman.
2 things at once. Let's see. Let's see how good you are with 2 things at once. Why don't you just turn this laptop to you?
I do that normally. I would have. Now you make it as if it's yours.
Why are you arguing? Why are you screaming? You've got like... Okay.
Can you list or no?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Okay. We address the most common finance, trust, and process-related questions raised by our customers. Okay, cool. So we've got lots of data, lots of questions that come up to our call center, and they compiled a list of about 7, 8 queries that we need to unpack. So hopefully you guys have less questions after this live. Let's hit the first one, Els. Anytime now.
Debt review versus blacklisted.
Okay, debt review versus blacklisted. All right, debt review versus blacklisted customers. Okay, when you go under debt review, you voluntarily, so you volunteer to say, listen, I've made my mistakes, I've got too much debt, potentially your income bracket changed, you might got a
Look at this one,
or something happened at work, you lost your job, you were retrenched, etc., etc. Then you go under voluntary debt. Review. There are companies that do restructuring in terms of what you currently need to pay your commitments, and they go and consolidate it. So instead of having a car, a house, a credit card, a furniture account, a clothing account, whatever, they'll bring it all into one, and they'll say, okay, this is the amount that you need to fulfill the commitment on, and we won't get the stuff repossessed, and we'll just permanently block you in terms of getting out new credit, going and taking out new loans, so that no other credit provider may assist you while you're under debt review. Now, there are ways to rehabilitate once all your debt is paid. Maybe you've got a new job, or you got a promotion again, or your income climbed again. Then you obviously have buying power. You finish paying that, you get a clearance, and after about 90 days is where we see success after getting a clearance from debt review. So 90 days later, you are welcome to go and buy a new car, apply for more accounts, etc., etc. But the key metric is, while under debt review, you are actively volunteering the fact that, in plain English, I didn't know how to manage my debt, I made mistakes, I need help before all my stuff disappears and it gets repossessed. Please assist me, freeze everything, and let me pay for it at a reduced amount that normally a debt review company goes and negotiates on your behalf. So typically you'll come out of a situation where you've got 12, 15,000 rands worth of debt that you have to pay per month, and then they'll bring it down to 4,000 or 5,000 rand over a longer period of time. They negotiate with the banks, and here we go. At least you don't lose your stuff. Now, when you are blacklisted, everybody's on ITC. The moment that you are born, you enter into the ITC world. You've got an ID number, you're on ITC. Blacklisted is a very common word thrown around, but what it actually means is, unlike going under voluntary debt review, blacklisted means you have accounts, you haven't paid them, you haven't stuck to your commitment. Maybe you've got clothing accounts, you took out 20, 30, 40, 50,000 rands worth of clothing, and you didn't fulfill it, and you just stopped paying it. Now they put you on a system, a centralized system. There's a couple of them, by the way, depending on which credit provider you end up in trouble with. They'll put you on Experian or whatever. And they'll say this person owes us 54,000 Rand of debt that he or she did not fulfill. So he's a bad payer. That's just a warning signal to any other credit provider to be on the lookout for you who's not paying your debt. So that's the two main differences. Under debt review, you can't really buy a car. Now, there are instances, we'll have a customer that has applied with us, he is or she is under debt review, doesn't disclose that because that's one of the upfront questions that we always ask. Are you currently under debt review? No, I'm not. Okay, sweet. Do the application, send it in, and sometimes the banks miss it. There's people working there. Sometimes one of the systems is off, they miss it, it slips through, it goes through the cracks, and the customer gets a car. And then later, do they send me all their friends that are also on debt review? Uncle B got me through, and I'm on debt review. Go and buy a car from him. Boom, the system's back online with the banks, and they just get blocked. So debt review is just a stop sign in your credit activity to say this person is under voluntary debt review. We are busy rehabilitating him or her, and they are not allowed to take out any credit loans. The banks do miss it sometimes, but very seldomly. Versus being blacklisted or marked as a slow payer or a non-payer, that's when they put a mark on ITC and they say this person did not fulfill this commitment, and therefore he or she is in our bad books. So watch out. This is a warning to you guys. If you grant him credit or her credit, the chances of them doing the same with you is big because they've done it to us. Those are the two main differences. Did we fulfill the question? How many people jumped off? These are boring subjects.
This is one of them says.
Cool. What's the next one? Just waiting for it to.
Students and first-time buyers.
Students and first-time buyers, finance options. Okay. First-time buyer, very, very, very easy if you know what you're doing. So there are three markers that have to be hit. The first marker is the affordability bracket. You need to buy within 30% of your gross income. So 30% of your gross income. The second marker is you need to buy as new as possible. So because you're a high risk, you're hyper high risk. And the reason for that is you don't have credibility that's been built up within your credit status. So they can't go in your ID number on ITC and see, okay, this person bought a car this and this year, then they bought a house, then they've got a credit card, they fulfilled the credit card needs, then they had a clothing account, they've got gym membership, they've got all these stuff that goes off your account that reflects good on your credit status. As a student or first-time car buyer, I mean, if you're a student and you're hustling and you're working part-time and you're earning money, as long as you can prove money in your income and where it comes from, and you are a registered taxpayer, the bank will look at that. But as a first-time car buyer, typically, you don't have credibility. So we need to go 30% of your gross. We need to go as new as possible. And that is basically, if this person doesn't pay, can we collect the car and then sell it off auction? So that's one part of it. And then the third part is the risk factor, which is lying on both the car and it's lying on you as the consumer. So what do I mean by the car? The car is very, very important. If you are purchasing a 7-year-old Polo Vivo, okay, versus a 2-year-old Polo Vivo, if a repossession takes place, they've got data analysts and they've got all this historical data from the past. When we repo a 2-year-old Polo Vivo, how quickly can we recoup our money back? Which means how quickly can we take the car, put it on auction, sell it off on auction, and get our full refund in terms of whatever was owed. Now, if it's a high-risk car, for example, let's use an Alfa Romeo, for example. Historically, if they go back into their sales, how close to what the person owed us can we get on auction? Which means if that person owed us 300,000 Rand, that's market value, for example. On an Alfa Romeo, we get 60% of market value. It's a high risk. we're going to lose 40% of our money because this is a newbie. We don't know whether or not he or she will pay. Now, if it's a 2-year-old Polo Vivo, they might get 120% of market value, which means if you finance within the range, and we're going to get to the perimeter now, and we have to take this car back, we have to repo this car back, the chances of us actually losing long term if they default is very small, which means we can give this person an opportunity, we can give them a chance, and if it goes belly up, take the car, put it on auction, sell it off, everybody wins, nobody loses. And then the last part is actually the risk on yourself, which means historically, if you're a graduate, you tend to be in a position to get a better job. So graduates score better. If you've got some sort of a diploma or degree, you score automatically better. If you are hitting all those parameters in the correct order and sequence, you will get approved. Where the big problem comes in is, I've got 22-year-old, 21-year-old lighties that come to me and say, Uncle Bobby, I studied accounting, I'm qualified now, I've got a kick-ass job, and I want to buy a 2015 M4 because I can afford it. And then they get declined. And then they go 2016 140, 2017 330i, and then after 3 or 4 declines, the bank just blocks you. This person's shopping around, so you're not fulfilling the as new as possible point, which is very important. It's one of the, it's 33% of the approval. If you miss that, you're working uphill. So 30% of your gross income, the car must be as new as possible because there's a warranty, there's a service plan, a maintenance plan, and you can afford to live still because you're young and you're not very smart yet, and you do dumb shit and you dope a lot and you party like a rock star because life hasn't even begun for you yet. You don't have responsibilities. So can they afford the vehicle? Is it new enough? Is it a low risk vehicle? And then in terms of his risk profile, maybe you've got a gym membership here and there, you've got something small that goes off, you're a graduate, boom, it goes through. I hope that explains it to you in as clear as possible language.
Next one.
Yeah, let's go. There's some questions coming through. I'll grab them now at the end.
Do we offer in-house finance?
Okay, no, we don't offer in-house finance. There's multiple reasons for that. Firstly, dealerships that really do it at a very large scale in terms of in-house finance need to be properly funded. If you just consider, we had 75, 78 apps today, applications. Our approval ratio is 40, 45% currently. The rest are declined. Now, if we have to go and do in-house finance, you can sell 20, 30 cars a day if you do that. The challenge is you're going to fund that stock up front on your own. You'll run out of money very quickly. In a couple of days, you run out of money. And then you're going to have to play debt collector. And if someone doesn't pay, the tracker must switch the car off and you must repo the car, etc., etc. There are some dealers that do it on their cheaper vehicles and they manage the cash flow that way. We don't want to go into that industry. It's not what I like, unfortunately. But yes, there are some dealerships that do it. We don't do it at all. Never tried it, not planning to.
Do we offer rent to own?
Rent to own, no. Rent to own's also, I like the rent to own option more than the in-house finance because rent to own is a high risk, high reward, very volatile environment, which means high risk. You're going to get an interest rate that is wicked. It's like 19, 20% interest rate return on your funds. Okay, high risk also means that consumer needs to pay a relatively large deposit before they take delivery of the vehicle. So you're talking like let's say an average 150,000 Rand, and you're going to have to come up with at least 20% or 30% deposit. So it eliminates that running around, this one didn't pay, that one didn't pay, go and fetch the cars, pick them up. Another thing with rent to own is they've got 2 tracking devices. They keep the spare key and they've got 2 tracking devices. One of them monitors where you are and the other one monitors where you are and can actually switch your car off. So for example, your debit order is due on the 1st, the debit order doesn't go through. On the 2nd, when you're trying to go to work, the car doesn't work. Someone comes there with the spare keys and takes the car away. So the the process is a lot more volatile. The interest rates are a lot higher. The deposit requirement is a lot higher. It's just a different vibe. It's a different vibe. And we haven't gotten into it yet. I was planning to do that, but I decided against it at the end.
Joint applications or co-debtors?
Joint applications or co-debtors? No. So another thing that in the past, hoekom lag jy?
Lag vir myself.
Co-debtors. Daar kom die Afrikaanse meisie uit. Co-debtors. So joint applications or co-debtors. In the past, it used to be a popular thing. Mom or dad would come in and say, I'll co-sign, this lighty needs a car, he needs to get the F out of my house, I don't want him eating all my food, he must go and stay on his own and look for a job. Where now, here's what happens, as the loopholes are closed by the banks, because then mom will say, yeah, but you know, I can't be held responsible because I lost my job, and nowhere in the contract that it say if I lose my job, I still have to pay for this car, etc., etc. So the more schemes the guys came up with to get free cars, basically, the more the banks close the loopholes. And at the end of the day, currently, very, very hard to do a joint application, like extremely hard. Maybe we do 3 a year, but it's under special circumstances, it is crazy hard. A lot of the applications that we get through will be someone with a disability. Like, for example, if you've been declared medically blind, which means you can still see, you don't need to walk around with a walking stick, but you can't go and pass your driver's license. They'll look at a co-signer, they'll look at someone else to drive the vehicle, exemption on driver's licenses. So there are instances like that, but extreme cases. It's not easy to get one of those through. It's extremely, extremely hard. Very, very difficult. Next. Elsie's busy ticking and doing a thing there.
Scammer pretending to work for Mit-Mak.
Okay, there we go. This is the one that I wanted to spend time with you guys on. How many people are watching now?
83.
Okay, scammers that pretend to be Mit-Mak. Lots at the moment. There's a dude called Ian. Ian's doing the rounds on all these WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups. And we recorded a video this morning where I gave a message both to Ian and both to the people that Ian has scammed. Because we did receive a couple of calls, and I received one on Saturday afternoon. As I got home from work, Shame, a very sad young lady phoned me and she said, you know, Uncle Bobby, I've paid 5,000 Rand over to someone by the name of Ian, and now I'm being blocked. Can you please tell Ian to phone me? I said, ma'am, why didn't you phone me first? You know, it looked legitimate and it was such a bargain. It was a Yaris for 50,000 Rand, a new shape Yaris for 50,000 Rand. I said, ma'am, did you do a little bit of research in terms of what these cars sell for, you know, in the marketplace with a similar mileage? She said, yeah, this thing was like a third of the price and a fifth of the price, and I thought I scored a bargain. I said, ma'am, can you understand? Can you realize what happened? Yes, Pops, I got scammed out of 5,000 Rand. I don't know what to do. I said, ma'am, there's not much you can do. Unfortunately, you can go and make a case. They'll trace the telephone number, which is not recurred. They just put it in a dustbin. That money is moved. And most of the times, these guys will either take an e-wallet or some sort of a payment way, or get a direct transfer. I know FNB does it a lot. A direct transfer just using your cell phone number, and then you can pay money into that person's account. Excuse me. The challenge with that is it's almost untraceable. Now, my message for the scammers is it's actually very sad if you think about who are you actually scamming. Who is the person that is so vulnerable that you're taking money from? And it's normally a person that can't afford to pay you that 5,000 Rand. It's not like you're taking it from a wealthy oak. You caught him and you'll laugh about it and like kick his ass a little bit and say, fuck, how can I be so stupid? This is probably the person's lost money. They've saved 40,000 Rand or 50,000 Rand. It's all they have, and now they're going to buy this beautiful Yaris from Ian and his crew. Now, they do understand psychology. One of the greatest motivators, especially for men, is greed. So, you know, I saw this thing, even though lots of people have watched this video, there's a couple of thousand views and 600 comments, and I like it, can you send me more photos, all this other stuff. I'm the person that's bold enough to take action and actually buy this car and get this bargain. And that is your filter that makes you actually blind to seeing the truth. Now, on the flip side, and I hope you guys get it from the kindest place in my heart, but if you get caught by one of these scammers to buy a Legend 40 D4D bakkie for 70,000 Rand, and you transfer 70,000 Rand in this person's account, then my message to you is you're a dummy and you should have been caught because you're not thinking properly. There's no traceability on the business. There's no address of the business. There's nothing. And you just transferred 70,000 Rand in some random dude's account that just goes and closes his account and carries on. And due to the Protection of Personal Information Act, it's very hard for the police to also build a case against these guys. It takes months. And as we discussed this morning, if you're a police officer, you're dealing with 60 new cases per day. This first case that came through is a car accident, someone got injured. Then the next case is a shooting. Then there's domestic violence. Then there's a woman beating a man. And then there's this oak that ended up in hospital, this school riot, all these other stuff. And then this case lands on your desk where a scammer scammed you out of 5,000 Rand. They literally don't have capacity. And it's not about, I've had, you know, old uncles and tannies that come, yeah, Bobby, crying. You know, we went to the police. They don't want to help us. It's been 3 weeks. There's no progress on the case. And it's not like the police are useless. The police are doing the best that they can with what they have. But think about priorities. Will the police prioritize your 5,000 Rand scamming case or chase down criminals that were hijackers and people that stole and robbed and shot people and all this other stuff? You are going to be file 13 there at the end, right at the end, and you will get very little to no attention just simply because of capacity. And going back to Ian again, the way that these guys operate is they understand psychology very, very well. They are expert manipulators, which means they will go and they will figure out, okay, so greed is a motivator, greed is a driver. That's number one. Number two, we can actually go and reverse engineer how a police officer, a constable or an investigating IO, how will they actually go about doing this case? Okay, they have to do this, then request bank statements, then because it's Poppy, a judge will have to grant them access. By the time that happens, they don't even have a real address. Maybe they've got an ID number, who cares? They're already blacklisted and it's a petty crime in the police's eyes and they get away with it. Not every time, like almost every time they get away with it. So very well thought after, very nice high quality videos of a cell phone, speaks well, speaks in different languages, so that's how they approach, you know, different ethnicities, yeah. Elsie's even surprised by me pronouncing it right the first time. They approach different age groups, they approach different demographics, and then it will be a lady. I saw a video where a lady is talking to ladies. Hey ladies, here's a nice car, this is great for your kids, and this is a big boot, and it's a 60,000 Rand car that actually should cost 260 or even 360, and people fall for it. And back onto the actual problem, and this is what enables them. The actual problem is you, the one that's being scammed. You're a dummy if you buy a 40,000 Rand, 1,400 bakkie that looks like it can cost 200,000 Rand. You're allowing greed, that filter of greed, to blind you, literally blind you from seeing the truth, which is, if it's too good to be true, it probably isn't. And you're getting caught. And you are enabling them, like, right, we've sent out 10 videos today, 400 people inquired, 355 saw the scheme and saw the scam, and that told us to piss off. And then out of the 50 that were highly interested, we got 10 holding deposits and potentially 2 full payments. So they got 50,000 Rand today and 2 full payments. They made 120, 130,000 Rand today just because of people's greed. It is very, very, Very sad, unfortunately. Do you want me to dive deeper?
Jy kan doen wat jy voel is reg. Kan ek aangaan?
Yeah. What's the next one?
Odometer tampering concerns.
Odometer meter tampering concerns. So also a cool question and a cool topic, and we can dive into it. I use the example of that dude that caught me with a Porsche and gave me this watch a couple of weeks prior to that. Now, if I explain the scheme again, those people that's still on, how many people are still on, by the way?
82.
82. Those people will understand it because I'll have more time to explain it. So we get offered a Porsche. It was a Macan. It was a Macan Turbo S, Diesel S. And the vehicle comes to us from a reliable source. Comes to us, like trust is 10 out of 10. Comes to us, enters the dealership. We know this dude. We've bought cars from him in the past. This is a very expensive car, not usually what he sells us, but this car comes in and he says to me, the car was just serviced 2 days ago on 65,000 kilometers at Porsche in Linwood. Okay, sweet. Negotiate the price, pay him the car, he's gone. I take a shortcut and not go through the entire buying process. And the next morning, our buying managers say to me, we suspect that this car's mileage has been tampered with. I said, how do you suspect that? He said, okay, cool. So you bought this car and then said, do the paperwork. So you made the mistake, not us. Can we agree on that? Yes, we can. I bought it from this dude. We know him. We trust him. I've known him 20 years. Okay. So the vehicle was purchased brand new from someone. That person drove the car up to 45,000 Ks. Drove it for 3 years. Sold the vehicle to a private individual. That person then drove the car for another 2.5, 3 years almost. But that person drove the car. And he never serviced it at Porsche. So the service history book had 3 Porsche stamps in it in the cabiole. Then a whole bunch of invoices from a person that worked there in the past, that knows these cars, that maintains them, and is very good at what he does. So every time the car required a service, this person took it there, that guy serviced the car, reset the service odometer reading, and the car was sweet. That person then eventually sold that vehicle to this buddy of mine, ex-buddy of mine, that then sold it to me. Said, okay, what about the service history? Now it's a private guy, and this dude serviced the car there. Here's his number. You guys can use him. He's fantastic. He's a little bit cheaper than the agents, but use him. He's good. Why are you smiling, Els? We're getting funny comments.
Nee, Mossie het 'n foto gepost van die BMW.
Van die BMW. Wat's 'n BMW?
Before, after.
What BMW is that?
Ek het geen idee.
On what group is this, Els? What's going on here?
Business group. I don't know what's going on.
What did Mossie post here? Before, after. No, man. Oh, that's some AI shit, man.
Ek hoop so.
No, it is. Dude, what's going on? Oh, shit. Never do that to me again. My heart. Okay, so Mossie is so fucking naughty, man. So Mossie posts, let's show the people. Mossie posts our depot.
Wag, het hy focus?
So you use some sort of an AI app to post the depot. There's a BMW. There's a BMW standing in the rim repair section. Okay, so nothing wrong. And then a couple of minutes later he posts.
It on its back.
He posts the thing that it seems like it rolled over. But if you notice, the first BMW is a 3 Series, the second BMW is a 5 Series. And then Henry starts losing all his shit there, and shame, man. Give the poor guy a heart attack. Okay, that's why you're smiling so lekker. What's going on? And I'm not even there. Normally, I put cars on their roofs. You haven't put a car on its roof before. Okay. Yes, personally. But back to the story. So now, this dude that sold us this Porsche, he's a complete scallop. He sees the 3 services done by Porsche, and then more services done by another guy. Goes and brings back the mileage from 160 all the way back to 65. Okay, so pay someone, it's 1,500 Rand, by the way, to do that. 1,500 Rand later, brings the car back to 65,000 kilometers. Phones Porsche in Linwood and says, listen, I've got this car, it's due for a service, it's been standing a very long time, I want to service the car. Brings the car in, they do the service, they stamp the book with 2 days ago's date, with the odometer reading that they saw on the car, 65,000 kilometers. Sells us the vehicle, and then the team normally does the step before me, buying the car, but because it's a friend, they do it after and say, okay, Uncle B, here's the story. This car was sold to this person, we figured this part out, and then he drove it for 3 years. You mean to tell me he drove it in 3 years, only 20,000 Ks? Impossible. I said, okay, what did you find out next? Well, we found the original owner who gave us the number of the owner that bought it after him, who confirmed that the vehicle was sold to this dude that sold you the car on 165,000 Ks. Then this dude turned back the mileage, took it to Porsche, got the car stamped on 65 and sold it to us. So what do you want us to do? Said nothing. I'll figure it out. I'll sort it out. Found him. We had a conversation, refunded me my money. He's probably called me a couple of thousand times in the last 5 years, sent me letters that are this long, books, essays, poems about how sorry he is and he's changed his ways and all this other stuff. And I'll never talk to him for as long as I live. Ever, 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 ever. To the point where this is a cool story. So he mixes with some people that I know because of his ethnicity, not going to call them out, but those people, very important figure in that community, got married. And that person invited one of my best friends to the wedding. And this dude also shows up there. And me and my best friend are always seen together. We speak a lot. We've spoken on TikTok lives before. So he says, hey, you close to Uncle B. Me and Uncle B are best friends. And we go back a long time, 20 years. So this friend of mine phones me, says, listen, how are you, brother? I said, no, brother, what's happening? I thought you had a wedding. How's the wedding? No, lacquer, all good. I've got a friend of ours here that says you don't take his calls. And why are you writing people off? He seems like a nice guy. I said, is he close to you? He says, yes, he's close to me. I said, put the phone on speaker. Put the phone on speaker. He puts the phone on speaker. I said, listen to me nicely. Don't ever call me a friend. Don't phone me again. And you're a effing something something. And I just called him an ugly word. And you're a scallum. And please do not corrupt the mind of the person that's holding the phone. So the guy puts the phone off speakers like, Bobs, why are you speaking like that? So I said to him, ask him to tell you the story and then you'll understand better. So he phones me later. He says, I understand. I would have acted the same way. He's an a-hole. We're not going to communicate with him again. So that's one version. That's quite a slick version. If I must admit, he used a little bit of his brains. But the quickest way to pick it up, the quickest way, if there's no service history in the car, most manufacturers, by the way, it's very irritating, I know, but most manufacturers do not stamp books anymore. If you go to Audi, they don't even have a book. They don't even have a stamp. There's no stamps. Everything is electronically recorded. So typically, the people will buy a Hilux. They do it the most with Hiluxes. They'll buy a Hilux and they'll say, no, the boekie is weg, but it's op die system. It's on the system. Then they'll take that Hilux from 350,000 Ks back down to 125, but the last service was at 350 on the system. So that's one way to pick it up. Another way is the last recorded service on the vehicle was on 90 7 years ago. Now it's got 125. How is a Hilux driving 7 years without, unless you can give me undeniable proof to say that Uncle Johnny here bought the car, he used it very little, and he owned it for the 3 years, and me and Johnny have a conversation, ask him for some manual invoices, or maybe a RMI approved dealer, or some other dealership, or some other workshop that serves the car that has it on their system. Then trace that, put it all together. But it's ugly, 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 ugly. One of the funniest stories happened about 2 weeks ago. We're buying a Golf R from a gentleman in KZN. And initially he sent out the license disc, he sent out everything. So we checked the car, historically it's not a rebuild, it looks okay. So we give him a price. We say, sir, we'll pay you between 440 and 450. I remember the amount. So he said, sweet, the price is attractive, I like the price, I will accept your price, no problem, let's go for it. So we end up going out to the vehicle, seeing the vehicle, asking for service history, which is a mistake on our side because we should have done that homework up front. But we're already there, we're excited, we want to buy the car. Now the car shows 112,000 kilometers. Where did you buy the car? Now I bought it from this and this dealer. Okay, cool. I know that dealer. Give them a call. Said, brother, how are you? Lekker, lekker. What was the mileage on this car when you sold it? 178. You sure? Yes. 178 on our system. I remember the car. Thank you very much. George is all excited. He's like, fuck, running around on the floor. I said, George, calm down. Come back here. Found this guy on speaker and ask him, where did you buy the car? I bought the car there. What was the mileage when you bought the car? And he sort of keeps quiet. Now, I can't really remember. I didn't drive the car much. I don't really know what to say to you. I can't really remember. Are you guys buying the car or not? Because there's other people coming. So I take over the conversation. I said, sir, based on your ID number, I can see that you're older than me. So normally I like learning from older people, but Uncle Bobby, who's younger than you, will teach you something. Whatever you do has a consequence. And the fact that you're doing this will bite you in the ass one day, and you're a scallum. And please, I'm asking you forever and a day, you and all your homies, don't ever, 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 ever sell us cars, or I'm going to lay a case against you for fraud. And I'll make you very famous because you run a business and you're trying to hook me up with a car. So that's another way, just going back to the previous owner and having that conversation. A different way will be, and I wish that our systems were integrated, but slowly but surely they are becoming integrated. It will just take a couple more years. But in the States and in first world countries, countries where the POPIA Act has already been sorted and systems can speak to each other, you can go on a website, punch the VIN number, and have everything recorded there. If the car had ever insurance claims, it has to be there. The panel beaters will lose their licenses unless they go and place that actual repair with a quote, with the parts on that system. But eventually we'll get there. For now, unless you are very resourceful, unless you've got lots of contacts, and we're one of the 3 lucky dealers that can go back into the system on eNatus and check previous ownership and do our calculations from there, contact the people, speak to them, ask them the relevant questions. It is very difficult to pick it up. It's really, really hard. And because it's hard, more and more of these scallums are getting away with it.
Question time.
Okay, is that it?
Yes.
All right, sweet, like a lemon. Can I get approved if I'm not, if I'm on a permanent work contract? Can I get approved if I'm on a permanent work contract? Yes, but I think what your question was, if you're on a fixed term contract. So permanent contract, you can get approved. If you're on a fixed term contract, that becomes trickier, because the moment that we found HR and we say this and this person, is he or she working here? Yes, they are. Okay, great. How long have they been working here? Well, they've been working here for the past 6 months. Are they permanently employed or temporarily employed? And they'll say, no, they're on a fixed term contract and the balance is, let's say, for example, 24 months. Then what the bank will do is they'll calculate, based on your current income, will you be able to afford it to pay it off in 24 months? Because there's no guarantees after 24 months. A lot of people argue the logic, which makes sense. You know, I get 24 months every 24 months for the last 3 24-month cycle. I will, you know, get the renewal, but there's no guarantee. I will doesn't mean you will. I will means based on how I've performed up to this point, the likelihood is very high, but it's not a guarantee. And that's where the banks say, okay, that's fine. You are permanently employed. You've got 24 months left on your contract. If you want to buy a 300 grand car with 10% deposit to accommodate the installment, in your affordability bracket, you have to give 200,000 rand deposit, and your installment is this much only for 24 months. That's as simple as it is. Credit score 609, can I get a car? Like we discussed in the beginning of this, your score is not really a determining factor on whether or not you can get a car. It literally isn't. We had a 605 score get approved the other day. We had a couple of 612s, 618s that were approved, but these are people that have low score because almost no credit. So there's no traceability, there's no historical data that they can go to and say, okay, based on this last couple of years worth of transactions, I can prove that I pay my debt. So they've got almost no debt, like a gym membership and a little cell phone contract. Score is low, boom, you want to make debt for a vehicle of 300 grand, your score is low. If your score is low because you're a slow payer and you've got debit orders that were rejected and you've got stuff that wasn't paid, and you know your ITC is a mess, then you will get declined. But if you're a low scoring customer because of traceability proof, then the chances are still good. I had a guy this morning call me. I was on my way to work and he said, Uncle Bob's, before you get busy, I've got a question. I said, shoot. I earn 45,000 net and I've been declined. I said, with us? I said, no, another dealer, but I need your help. I need to buy a car. I said, okay, firstly, you should have come to me first, but we passed that stage now. We can't go back in history. Why were you declined? No, I don't know. The dealer didn't tell me. I said, okay, let me ask you a few questions. Are you behind on anything? No, not really. Everything's sweet. And I'm getting a new job next month. It's going to pay me more. Okay, cool. Do you own property? No, I rent. Do you have HP on car finance? No. Hire purchase? No. No car finance. I've got a credit card and I've got a personal loan that I took to build up my credit score. I said, that's why you declined. If you live on personal loans, this is how the bank sees it. Sir, ma'am, you can't budget your money well enough that you're currently earning to get through the month. You go and make out a personal loan to get through the month. And over and above that, now you want to go and buy a car, but you can't even sustain your lifestyle here without a personal loan. It's an immediate decline. Whoever educated people and said to them, get personal loans to build up your credit is a retard. And he should be like publicly thrown with things that will hurt his body, because it's the worst thing that you can do. Going out and getting a personal loan to build up your credit score is literally out of 10 things that you can do, that's the worst thing that you can do. So personal loan, immediate decline. Credit score does not really determine whether or not you qualify. Not entirely. What should one's credit score be in order to get accepted to purchase a beauty from your Uncle Bob? I think I just answered that question as well. Good day, Uncle Bobby. I'm looking for a good first company bakkie to buy. Great. Marco Lomas 402. Marco, give me a shout, shoot me a WhatsApp, and we'll get you sorted, my brother. Just ask you a few questions. Is it a 1 tonner, half a tonner, whatever you need? We've got you covered. Do you have Isuzu 23 model double cab D-Max? Yes, we do. Bunny. Funny Bunny. Yes, we do. I'm in Durban and want someone to come view my GLC 250D AMG line. Covs, all you need to do is shoot me a couple of images of the car, so front, back, side, mileage, exactly the spec that it is, everything on the vehicle that we need to know, including the license disc. We'll make you an offer, and then we'll send out the team to come and buy your car. What software application can be used to check the vehicle history in terms of insurance claims on the car? That's a very good question. Tamian GoBund. Okay, Tamian GoBund. So a couple of systems that we use. Number one and most reliable is we are directly plugged into the eNatus system, which means we can go from the time the car was born and then the ownership history change. So if the vehicle was ever uneconomical to repair and written off, the law says that the insurance company needs to register it on their name and then sell it off. So a lot of those cars remain code to used cars, but then it will be, for example, it will be Yaku, a business name, John, and then it will be Santam Insurance or Outsurance, and then it would change names again. So that's the one way we can pick it up. If the vehicle was in a crash and not deemed uneconomical to be written off, there's another system that we subscribe to, and it's a paid for service. And all that it does is it bounces to an insurance hub. So all the panel beaters quote through one system. And it bounces that data off the system and comes back. And then it used to be a case where we could get the monetary value of, let's say there was an insurance claim of 65,000 or 75,000 rand, whatever the amount was. Now they've removed the monetary value, but you can see it's like an Excel line. You can see front, yes, so the front had damage. Front right, yes, it had damage. Back left, yes, it had damage. So it will guide us where the vehicle incident was, but they did remove, which is sad, they did remove the monetary value of that insurance claim. So there's two systems there. Uncle Bobby, my friend bought 2 cars that had papers, and 3-4 months later, the banks were looking for them. Man, it's like a thing. It's a real thing. We've got a presentation with 3 of the major banks on the, what date is it, our 17th or 18th?
17th.
17th of March. We've got a presentation of Feb, 17th of Feb. So it's next week, Tuesday. Yeah, next week, Tuesday, we've got a big meeting with 3 of the banks in Sandton, and they're currently losing combined R1 billion a year, 1 billion with a B combined, if you put all the banks together. So this is typically cloned vehicles. We've ran classes and courses on this, and the dealers just, I can't comment on their strategy, but the dealers are just either too lazy or ignorant because they haven't been caught before, but the dealers don't seem to understand the vastness of this problem. So this is a cloned vehicle. It's a nice way of saying this is a stolen vehicle. So the cops will collect the car and you lose all your money. That's it. Very hard to prosecute as well. Very easy to pick up, if you know where to look. Very, very easy. I've got a car I need to sell for deposit. It's not good for me. It keeps breaking down. How do I get the best value for deposit? Should I go to a dealer or private? So if the car keeps breaking down, yeah, that's a problematic car. I mean, you just need to be upfront. This is wrong with the car, that's wrong with the car, this is wrong with the vehicle. So when you go to a dealership, say, guys, girls, I've got this, let's use whatever car. I've got this VW Jetta. Every 3rd day the battery is flat. Every 5th day something wrong with the clutch. Then I have to take it, then they tune it. So there are problems. I want a new car. These are the problems that I'm aware of, and a dealer will then obviously buy that vehicle from you at a relative price. Is a credit card good or bad for one's credit score? So a credit card is not bad as long as you maintain the credit card and you don't live off the credit card. So for example, you're trying to build up your ITC score, and ABSA says we can offer you a 50,000 Rand credit card. Now if you're a dummy, you say 50 grand, I can get a big flat screen TV, a PlayStation 76, a Xbox 360 view, and all this other stuff, and then you're gonna have to work for the credit card. Typically what I say is, if you're building your credit score up, ABSA allows you 10,000 Rand on your credit card, take it, go 5,000 into debt, and then pay it off quickly. So if you go 5,000 into your credit card and you need to pay them 1,000 Rand a month, just pay 3 grand, or 3 grand, 2 grand, pay it off quickly. That shows, because a credit card's a good indicator to ITC. Every time you pay it off, it pings to ITC. This one went through, your score comes up, So credit card is good if you do it for that, but if you want to take out a credit card and live your life off a credit card and pay them back, the moment the bank sees that you are constantly in the red with a credit card, it's also a telltale sign that you can't maintain or afford your lifestyle. Hi, Uncle Bobby, I'm in Cape Town. Do you still have the E46330i? Nobody, we don't. It's already sold. Sorry, ne? Askisi, where? Is that it, Els?
Daar is ook typed messages.
Okay, typed messages that I missed them. Okay, I did miss them. What's the average rate with someone with a credit score of 617? Can't answer that question because I don't have your profile with me. You know, getting an approval with 617 is going to be good. This morning I get a call from a very prominent friend of mine, very wealthy guy, and his question is, I need your top sharpest F&I. A very wealthy friend of mine is buying, or his son wants to buy his first car, and he wants a killer interest rate. said, did you just read your message? Like you're rich, you're smart. Did you just read your message? So he says, so we can't get him prime. I said, no, we can't get him prime. He's a first-time buyer. I don't care if his dad's a billionaire. It's got nothing to do with his ITC. If his dad is so fussy about him starting a life at a higher interest rate and then building his credit score up, baby him, buy it on his name, and just give him the car. He's so rich, just buy him the car cash. No, but he wants his son to build up but he doesn't want to get screwed on the interest rate. I said, buddy, he will get screwed on the interest rate because he's a first-time buyer. There's no historical data. He's not going to get prime. But you won F&R of the year. I said, yes, we did. 3 years in a row. And I'm telling you, I'm the most qualified person to give you this answer directly and straight. He will not get prime. He's a first-time car buyer. You will not get prime. You will not get prime. I don't care what your surname is. If you're Rupert's son, buys a car for the first time, and he's a first-time buyer, he's not getting prime. Unless daddy makes a call and says, Absa, I'm going to close you down unless you give him prime. And some heavyweight overrides it. You're not getting prime as a first-time buyer. It's not happening. The Almeida, how long? Okay, that's the username. How long should your shortfall be on a trade-in for a bank to assist you with approved? Man, for a bank to assist you with approve on a, how long should your shortfall be? No, bro, I can't understand that question. I'm not going to attempt it. Is it better to arrange finance with my private bank or a dealership? Plus bull. Okay, plus bull. Is it better to arrange finance with my banker or a dealership? The banker will take a week. The dealership will take an hour. The banker will not raise your interest rate to enrich themselves. The dealers might. So the dealer will send to 5 banks, and most dealers present you with the rate where they make the most money, versus the banker will present you with the best rate that he can get, because the incentivization works different. They've got a target of how many cars they should finance. The dealership has got a target of how much money they should bring in. If you end up at a good dealer, they'll present you with all the offers up front. They'll be very, very, very clear and transparent. When a customer gets approved, I send them a personal video and I say, sir, you got approved by these 3 banks. This one doesn't want to do business with us. This one does, this one does, this one does. The 3 rates are as follows. There's the rates. We had a perfect example. I'm going to give you this in real time. Eddie sent it to me earlier. Okay, and he just said we can tick. So a consumer, let me just find it quickly. I'll give you this in real time, how much of a difference it makes. Approved deals, Mit-Mak 1 approved deals. There was a nice breakdown here from Eddie. Eddie. I'm going to find it now. Sorry, guys. Just want to show you what the difference is. Okay. One bank approved. So this customer got approved by 3 banks and validated by 3 banks. Okay. So in this instance, Westbank, 15.11 interest rate linked. MFC, 15.65% interest rate linked. So slightly higher. Standard Bank, 13.8% linked. The message is typed out like this. I just want to conceal the customer cell number so that I don't breach any POPIA acts. The message is typed out like this on our approval group. Okay. Then the salesperson goes and presents this information to the customer and says, Mr. Customer, 3 banks validated you. Which one do you want? Westbank, MFC, Standard Bank. Now, one is 15.11, 15.65, and 13.8. If the customer insists on being loyal to MFC, for example, because he's bought 3 cars there, and would rather sign at 15.65 than sign on 13.8, then he can go and do that, and we'll make more money from DIC. But, I mean, consumers are people. Like, don't think of it as like you're not talking to a fool. You're talking to a person just like you that's trying to get a good deal, that doesn't want to spend all this extra money on paying the bank interest. The customer's like, are you kidding me? Let's go. Standard Bank. And that's where we're going to pick up and sign the contract. But this is how we present it. That's how we present it. Most dealers don't. They'll just say, oh, sir, great news. MFC's approved you, your installment, and here's the difference between installments. This is very cool. This is good content, Als. So the installment between the highest rate and the lowest rate, the difference in money is one is 4.4, the other one is 4.249. So it's like 150, 160 bucks difference. But the difference in income to the dealership is like 12,000 Rand. 12,000 Rand. If I can get you to sign on an MFC instead of a Standard Bank in this instance. Now, Standard Bank won here, but on the next 5, they might not win. It just depends how that consumer scores with that particular bank. That was a cool question. Thank you. Anything else? Let me check. I want to help a staff member buy their first car. Can you do a pre-approval so she knows what price range to look at? Gross is 22,000 Rand. Yes, sir, we can. So 30% of that is 2.2, 4.4, 6.6. So 6,600 Rand, car of approximately 350. So depending, it can be a little bit more if we structure a longer term or a balloon payment, etc., etc. But definitely, Thomas Franken, send me a message and then we'll get this done for you. We'll get it sorted for you. No problem at all. Thank you for the opportunity. Post view. Okay, address it. Okay. That's it. Good. Happy. Yes.
What is your opinion regarding all the new Volkswagen bakkies that is showing surface rust after 1 to 2 years? Marco Mooster.
Okay. So, all right. So a friend of mine whose 2 newish Ford Rangers we bought, me and him had a call recently. He bought a brand new Jeep Commander, 5.7 kick-ass car. It's a 7-seater. It's like a lovely car. Love the car. Picked it up, drove it home, and then he's very fussy. So he's like next level psychopath fussy with the car. Another level psychopath fussy with his car. So as he started looking through the vehicle, he started noticing surface rust on the bolts, underneath on the chassis, in the engine bay area, but like a lot. He says, Bob's a lot. So I said, okay, so what did you do? He said, no, I found the dealership, and I said, I don't want this car, it's got rust. So they said, can't be, it's a brand new car. So it can't be, can be, yes, here's the rust. So anyway, took the vehicle back. The dealership was cool about it. They understood. They said, sir, like, my bad. This thing went through PDI. We will improve. So they took the car back. It's not a cheap car. It's like 1.something million Rand. And the story came out. They actually called him. They said, you know what? We took this car back to the OEM who supplied us with a vehicle. And we said, this is a vehicle that we sold and was brought back. Do you have a funny comment?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get to it now.
Okay.
We'll get to it now. So what happened with that specific Jeep is the car ended up at a port for a year where it was just literally standing next to the sea. So every single day, those waves, that mist, you guys in Durban know what I'm talking about, that mist and the West Coast, it just destroys everything. Even aluminium windows rust there. So after a year, the vehicle was picked up, put on a ship, sent to South Africa, boom, the car was sold, ended up at the doctor's house, and he gave the car back. Now, on the VW side, if that vehicle was not manufactured here, maybe a similar scenario happened. If that vehicle was manufactured here, and there's like a whole bunch of those cars that stand next to the sea for a long time, and those vehicles tend to get that rust purely because of exposure. They're not washed, they're not cleaned, just exposed to that ocean breeze the whole time. Everything lies there. Okay, now that's me going worst case scenario. I can go even more worse. I've been in many factories and I've seen how they build cars, and cars are dipped. There's lots of time, energy, money, effort spent in rust prevention. Perhaps a batch of those dips or something in the chemical bonding process wasn't executed to the highest level. There was a mistake there, and the OEM, the manufacturer, should take responsibility for it. Give me a funny comment. Let me see.
Gary was a guy, Alpha. Let me just get
Is he going to bat me because I'm batting Alfa Romeos?
No. Net die conversation gehad, so sorry dat ek net gou weer teruggaan na die eerste een toe. Here is the guy telling boys that Audi isn't a good car. Alpha Moto Cust. And then the next comment was from Rev Nation. Alpha to Alpha. Bro, you can't argue with a Beamer boy. And then
Okay, so okay, we'll address that quickly, no problem. So very simply, people need to understand context, comedy, creating friendly division and competition without creating enemies. Now, if you say something on the internet, if I say this shirt is black and it's a black and white Masterclass logo, some retard is going to say it's not a black shirt, it's a dark gray font color 6, 12, 18, 17 plus. Okay, that's just the way the internet works. I like creating division between Audi and Mercedes, Mercedes and BMW, because I understand the culture. I love all those brands wholeheartedly, like wholeheartedly. One of the nicest cars that I can ever go home with or drive is an S3. Not even an RS3. An S3 is just so much fun. But the moment that you create division and you understand marketing and you understand algorithms, the more comments, the more bickering and fighting, the more likes, the more reshares, the more views. So that's purely a strategic marketing exercise and not a hatred exercise, like 0% hatred. But most of you don't get it because, yeah, the IQ average in sub-Saharan Africa is less than 70, which, by the way, in Asia is considered a retard. And they put you in a home and they take care of you there because you're not capable. But, you know, some of you are walking around here thinking that I'm creating hatred when I'm just having fun. That's it. Thank you. Hope I leave you better than we